Imagine if the world's most influential tech billionaire, Elon Musk, was secretly taking mind-altering drugs while helping shape government policy at the highest levels. Now, what if the US president claimed he had no idea? This isn't a plot line from a techno-thriller. It's playing out in real time, at the heart of American power. On the surface, it looks almost comical. Musk, the so-called Doge father, making headlines yet again, this time for alleged drug use involving ketamine, ecstasy, and psychedelic mushrooms. But beneath the memes and headlines lies a story that could reshape how we think about power, trust, and the future of both business and government. So what's really going on behind closed doors? How did we reach a point where the world's richest man steps down from government service amid a swirl of controversy and the president shrugs it off with a smile? And perhaps more importantly, who's really making the decisions that shape our lives? The people in office or the billionaires advising them? To unravel this story, we need to understand the cast, the stakes, and the veiled conflicts simmering just beneath the public's gaze. For years, Elon Musk has been more than a business icon. He's been the face of technological optimism, relentless ambition, and a certain brand of chaotic genius. From PayPal to Tesla, SpaceX to Neuralink, Musk has made a habit of shattering convention and redefining entire industries. His knack for innovation is legendary. It's easy to forget, though, that every revolution he's helmed has come with its own set of controversies, close calls, and wild personal stories. But this latest chapter might be his most consequential yet. Last year, Musk made a surprise entrance into national politics when President Donald Trump anointed him as head of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. The announcement drew both cheers and deep skepticism. Here was the tech world's most unpredictable titan, now tasked with cutting government waste and saving taxpayers a promised $1 trillion. Musk wasted no time. He moved into the White House's power circles, vowing to disrupt the federal bureaucracy. The media went into overdrive. Could the same man who launched rockets and built electric cars really fix America's bloated government machine? At first, it seemed like just another high-profile headline. But as months passed, whispers began to circulate. Whispers about Musk's erratic behavior behind the scenes, about late-night meetings fueled not just by caffeine, but allegedly by powerful drugs. The rumors might have stayed in the shadows, had it not been for a bombshell report from the New York Times. According to their sources, Elon Musk wasn't just experimenting with recreational drugs. He was allegedly using ketamine, ecstasy, and psychedelic mushrooms regularly, sometimes during official trips with the president's team. The details were as bizarre as they were worrying. A pillbox spotted in Musk's pocket on official business, aides nervously discussing his mood swings, even questions about mysterious injuries. At a surreal farewell ceremony, Musk was photographed with a dark bruise under one eye, laughing off questions and blaming playful roughhousing with his 5-year-old son. The symbolism was impossible to ignore. When cornered by reporters, Musk dodged the drug questions and went on the attack, calling out the false reporting by the New York Times and hinting at political motives behind the story. He wasn't going quietly. "I look forward to continuing to be a friend and advisor to the president," he declared, attempting to project confidence despite the storm swirling around him. Meanwhile, President Trump himself took an almost casual stance. When asked if he was aware of Musk's alleged drug use, he replied, "I wasn't. I think Elon is a fantastic guy." For observers, it was a moment of almost breathtaking nonchalance. After all, the Trump administration had built much of its identity around being tough on drugs. Now one of its top advisors was at the center of a scandal that would have sunk most political careers, and the response was, basically, a shrug. It's hard not to feel a sense of whiplash. Is this the new normal in American politics, where celebrity billionaires get a free pass, as long as the results, or the headlines, are exciting enough? Digging deeper, the significance goes way beyond Musk's personal choices. The controversy has triggered fierce debates among experts, politicians, and the public. How much should we care about the private lives of public figures, especially when they're responsible for trillion-dollar decisions? Harrison Fields, the White House deputy press secretary, didn't hesitate to praise Musk's work, telling reporters, "In just 4 months, Elon has accomplished more for American taxpayers than many career politicians." But not everyone was convinced. On social media and in boardrooms from Silicon Valley to Wall Street, doubts grew. What happens if someone with so much power is compromised, either by personal struggles or by the substances they use to cope? The research is troubling. Allegedly, Musk's drug use wasn't just casual experimentation. Reports point to ongoing patterns, mixing ketamine with ecstasy and mushrooms. There were even claims that these choices led to physical health problems, like bladder issues, potentially affecting his performance as a leader. More explosive was the suggestion that the timeline of Musk's drug use overlapped with massive political donations, some $275 million aimed at helping Trump secure re-election. Was this just coincidence, or something more? Critics wondered aloud whether the billionaire's influence on policy was, in fact, being shaped by altered states of mind. And then there's the question of corporate governance. Several Tesla and SpaceX executives reportedly feared that Musk's behavior could harm not just his reputation, but the future of their companies. After all, if the CEO of your business empire is taking powerful psychoactive drugs while shaping multi-billion-dollar strategies, investors and employees alike have reason to worry. Nate Silver, one of America's sharpest data analysts, noted that Musk's unfavorability rating is at 54%, a 14-point decline since mid-July. Clearly the public is watching, carefully. It's not just America. The world is watching too. Musk's companies employ tens of thousands, shape global markets, and even launch rockets for national security. If his judgment is compromised, the consequences could be global. Even neuroscientist Philip Lowe, once a close friend, commented ominously on Musk's changed behavior and recounted a bizarre incident involving a Nazi-like salute at a public rally. Whether that was a joke or a sign of something deeper, it left an uneasy impression. Sam Harris, a prominent public thinker, didn't mince words. Musk might have a broken moral compass due to spreading lies on social media. This isn't just about drugs. It's about credibility, values, and the enormous reach that comes with wealth and innovation. At the same time, not everyone was ready to throw Musk under the bus. Some experts, and even Musk himself, pointed out that ketamine can be a legitimate treatment for depression when prescribed and used responsibly. During a tense interview, journalist Don Lemon pressed Musk on whether he used ketamine for mental health reasons, and Musk insisted he took small amounts as prescribed. It's a reminder that mental health and leadership aren't always mutually exclusive, but it also highlights the blurry line between personal struggles and the public interest when the stakes are this high. And then there's the Trump administration's response. Stephen Miller, a former top aide, tried to shift attention by saying, "The drugs we're worried about are crossing the border." It was a classic deflection, but did little to calm the growing unease. Meanwhile, inside the White House, the mood was anything but unified. Musk's DOGE initiative, which promised to cut an eye-popping $2 trillion from federal spending, faced mounting legal challenges and questions about whether the savings were real. Some insiders admitted that the actual impact was far less than advertised. The promise of a fiscal revolution was colliding with messy reality. All the while, strange incidents added fuel to the fire. Senators and governors began receiving text messages from someone impersonating the White House chief of staff. The State Department announced it would start vetting foreign students' social media for anti-Semitism. Against this strange, shifting background, Musk's own spiral seemed almost symbolic, a microcosm of deeper turbulence within the corridors of power. The question is no longer whether Musk used drugs. The real question is, how far can you go before your personal life undermines your public mission? And more pointedly, what is the true cost when the lines between business, government, and personal conduct dissolve? As the drama reached its peak, Musk left his White House post with a characteristic smirk, bruised but unbowed. Yet, he promised to remain a close friend and advisor to President Trump, even as scrutiny mounted and more secrets threatened to emerge. Is the world's most unpredictable billionaire still calling the shots from the shadows? Or is this, finally, the moment where accountability catches up with influence? The next twists in this story could decide not only Musk's legacy, but the very rules for how power is wielded in the age of tech billionaires. The world is watching and asking, who's really pulling the strings? But what happens now? The fallout from Musk's exit as head of the Department of Government Efficiency lingers like a cloud over both Silicon Valley and Washington, D.C. Let's dig into what the future might hold, not just for Musk, but for American power itself. It's impossible to ignore the dual reality at play. On one side, Musk remains an icon, still lauded by millions for his ambition, his brashness, his ability to seemingly bend technology and capitalism to his will. Even his critics rarely deny his impact. But on the other, the allegations of drug use and erratic behavior are no longer whispers in back rooms. They're front-page headlines, discussed in the halls of Congress, on financial news TV, and in White House press briefings. Let's consider the possible paths forward. Some believe that this scandal may mark the beginning of Musk's isolation from the political mainstream. Once a trusted advisor, Musk's position is now tenuous. Many in Trump's circle, already frustrated by the lagging results of the Doge cost-cutting initiative, might see this as the perfect moment to quietly push Musk out for good. If he loses his political influence, his ability to shape policy, especially on issues like federal spending, space, and clean energy, could take a major hit. Another scenario? Corporate leaders and shareholders at Tesla and SpaceX, now more aware of the allegations, might demand increased transparency or even external oversight. Remember, top Tesla and SpaceX executives were reportedly so alarmed by Musk's rumored drug use that they worried it might threaten business deals. A single high-profile misstep, especially if tied to substance abuse, could spook investors, rattle stock prices, or even trigger investigations by the Securities and Exchange Commission. There's also the question of legal exposure. If reporting uncovers evidence that Musk used controlled substances illegally, or worse, while handling sensitive government matters or classified data, prosecutors could come knocking. We've seen powerful figures lose everything over less. But Musk is not an ordinary CEO. His combination of charisma, wealth, and a rabid fan base often lets him ride out storms that would sink others. The phrase "too big to fail" once applied only to banks, but in the 21st century, some think it describes a handful of tech titans too. And what about public opinion? Nate Silver notes Musk's unfavorability rating has actually declined by 14 points since July, defying expectations. In the age of social media, some controversies seem to bounce off certain figures, especially those who excel at controlling their own narrative. Musk's reaction to the press, dismissing the drug stories as politically motivated, may resonate with his base. For his supporters, it's just another mainstream attack on a visionary outsider. But as the New York Times revealed, these aren't just rumors or partisan sniping. There are credible, corroborated claims from people who worked closely with Musk. A neuroscientist and former friend, Dr. Philip Lowe, described Musk's behavior as increasingly unpredictable, citing bizarre episodes, including a Nazi-like salute at a rally. And Sam Harris, the public thinker, was blunt. Musk might have a broken moral compass due to spreading lies on social media. So, there's a deeper question. Even if Musk faces no immediate legal repercussions, could the steady drip of negative news erode the mythos he's built around himself? We're entering an age where the private lives of public figures are scrutinized beyond anything imaginable a generation ago. Leaders are expected to model integrity not just in boardrooms, but in all aspects of their lives. The consequences for failing to do so can be swift and severe. However, there is a different possibility, one that Musk himself has hinted at. He's admitted he was prescribed ketamine to manage depression, insisting he took only small amounts as prescribed. If Musk chooses transparency, sharing medical documentation, submitting to independent oversight, and acknowledging past missteps, he could potentially turn vulnerability into strength. America can be surprisingly forgiving if remorse is sincere and public trust is rebuilt. Let's pause for a second. It's easy to get swept up in the personalities and scandals, but beneath these headlines is a story about power, responsibility, and the boundaries we set for those in charge. High-stakes leadership comes with tremendous pressure. For world-changing innovators, the temptation to self-medicate is real. But history tells us that when the powerful go unchecked, when accountability is sacrificed for convenience or blind faith, the fallout can be catastrophic. What are the lessons for all of us? First, the importance of transparency. Whether you're running a Fortune 500 company, a government agency, or just your own life, trust is built on honesty. When corners are cut or truth is obscured, the consequences eventually catch up. Second, the dangers of cults of personality. It's easy to idolize industrialists or entrepreneurs who seem larger than life. They promise to save industries, create jobs, and even save humanity from extinction. But when adoration crosses into unchecked power, cracks appear. No one, not even Musk, is infallible, and the systems designed to keep leaders honest must not be weakened for any individual, no matter their achievements. Third, mental health matters at every level of society. If Musk's struggles with depression are real, they're a reminder that vulnerability is the human condition, not a personal failing. The stigma around mental health, especially for leaders, often drives people to secrecy and risky behavior. Open conversation, support, and appropriate treatment are healthier paths than silence or denial. Fourth, we must demand consistency from our institutions. The Trump administration's dismissive response, shrugging off credible allegations with jokes about border drugs, sets a dangerous precedent. If rules only apply to some, the rule of law is weakened for all. So what can you do with all this information? For one, be an active, discerning citizen. Don't accept easy narratives, whether they come from adoring fans, corporate PR, or political loyalists. Seek out independent reporting and think critically about the people in power, however charismatic they may seem. If you're a business leader, manager, or entrepreneur yourself, Musk's story is a warning. Your personal conduct, even away from the spotlight, can impact your company's culture, reputation, and legal standing. There's no such thing as private misbehavior when you're at the top. And if you ever find yourself in a position of influence, even in your local community, remember that your actions send ripples far beyond your immediate circle. Accountability, humility, and integrity can't be faked. They either exist or they don't. Let's bring it all together. So, will Elon Musk face real consequences? For now, the answer is complicated. Despite his abrupt departure from the high-profile White House role, Musk remains a powerful figure. His money, connections, and public platform give him enormous, perhaps unprecedented, leeway. The machinery of government and business moves slowly, especially when it comes to the well-connected. For many, it looks like Musk is skating above the rules, protected by his utility to those in power. But nothing lasts forever. Scandals accumulate, discontent festers, and reputation, once lost, is hard to rebuild. If the allegations continue to pile up, or if a single legal slip occurs, something that can't be laughed off, denied, or blamed on political enemies, then real consequences may finally arrive. The same system that elevates mavericks can also bring them crashing down. Yet there's another ending possible too, one where Musk uses this moment to change. By embracing full transparency, admitting past mistakes, and prioritizing the health and welfare of his teams, he could set a bold new standard for 21st century leadership. Impossible? Maybe. But throughout his career, Musk has specialized in the seemingly impossible. It's up to him to decide how this story ends. And here's a secret fact you might not have heard. While the headlines focused on Musk's personal controversies, a little-noticed clause in the Doge initiative he championed would have created a legal loophole for private contractors, many closely linked to tech billionaires, to bypass routine federal ethics checks. Had it passed unchallenged, it could have rewritten the rules for conflict of interest at the highest level of government. The scandal may have stopped that plan, for now. Ultimately, the story of Elon Musk's rise, fall, and uncertain future is not just about a single man. It's about the kind of country we want to be, one where innovation and ambition are matched by responsibility and accountability, where even the most powerful are not above the rules. What do you think? Should tech titans face stricter oversight? Was the media coverage fair, or a political hit job? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with friends who care about the